I don't live in Surrey, I live in London. I wanted to talk about my journey. I guess it starts with a physical one but merges into my thoughts as I cycle. I live near Old Street, and as I cycle, sometimes my essays or fragmented parts slide into my brain and merge into the traffic. I'm on a placement near Buckingham Palace, and I think of the Queen and whether she has any attachment issues. I think about maybe visiting her for an assessment under the Care Act, and then my essays begin to float into my mind. Nebulous, someone says my thoughts are nebulous. Cycling is brilliant for reflection, so is running, and I seem to run a lot these days. Westminster. The Westminster of St James's Park, horse guards, parades, and tourists sets red and blue colours in my mind, and then I think of Vince, who cannot read at 56, and Michael with a brain injury. Well, he has more debts than a third world developing project that's gone wrong, and streets with cafes which are not hipster but cheap and smell of chips. A different kind of Westminster where I work, where cartons of chicken bones seem to blow along London streets, and full of ministries that call out to fragmented spirits. And I think of these and my beginnings here in Westminster as a social worker on placement, pedalling hard against it all as an old man. Theory will inform my practice. Theory will inform my practice. Met a client yesterday who was the mother of 8-year-old twins. Acute anxiety compounded by drinking at least 6 bottles of San Miguel. I've just dropped my child off at school. It's cold this morning, my fingers are numb. How can you top off beer on top of antidepressants? That's a tough call. Not so many cyclists today. Must be the bitter winds or the metallic air. She did not smell of alcohol, that client. I've just put a new rear cog on this bike, has 15 teeth and seems to be settling in. Brooke's saddle is lining up nicely. She drank when she was overwhelmed by panic attacks and anxiety. Took a bump there. Everybody has a bump, a lump, a hit. I need to take this road as a social worker to see one client after another who have as their core a kernel, a pip, depression and anxiety. The resulting impact of depression is like Farringdon Road with the builders in, a bloody raw mess that I attempt to avoid even as a vegetarian. I have to walk through Smithfield's bloodied arches of a meat market. The side streets smell of alcohol. Depression walks with our clients and their ability to engage with any kind of social situation. It's easy pedalling. I find it easier to pedal pushing rather than form filling PIPs and ESA forms. The form filling to appeal against benefit cuts, threats of eviction, closed bank accounts, large bags of medicine. Every time I cycle past a chemist, I see with eyes that seem to pierce to the back of the store antidepressants. They tumble out across the road and they get caught under my wheels with methadone grease. I read in Pain, when a mass of knowledge about a situation has been built up, one of the uses of theory is to help you rise above what you immediately observe and find patterns that are not obvious in the tangle of everyday life. Well, on this placement, I'm well and truly tangled and suddenly aware that there's no going back. I have a theory. That's all I've got. I've got a theory in my pocket. I've got no money, but I've got theories in my pocket. I've used theory when I've been desperate to understand how you can have been hit by a brick in your 20s, like my client in an argument over drugs, and now forget everything. Bills, debts, medical appointments, and who you are, and how you can get from A to B, but mainly you stay at A, even if you will be shortly evicted. Rise above it all, says Paine. Float like a balloon, look down, point at their capabilities, even if you have dried up. The first small streams over time, with consistent reinforcement, become rivers. The spring that is barely discernible running dark over pebbles can perhaps become the river that carries the weight of our clients to higher ground. As social workers, we can support individuals to no longer tolerate the intolerable, to reattach and develop regardless of the hits of experience. I hold on to the mantra like holding on to a raft in a cold green sea. Uncertainty stalks us all. My client said her brain was like it had been hit with a cleaver. I'm convinced it's the weight of uncertainty and not knowing what's around the bend. The pothole of social work practice.
Oh, maybe it's the clothes we wear, the tasteless bracelets and the tie in our hair. Maybe it's our kookiness. Or maybe it's our nowhere towns, our nothing places, and our cellophane sounds. Maybe it's our looseness, but we're trash, you and me. We're the litter on the breeze, we're the lovers on the streets. Trash, me and you. It's in everything we do. It's in everything we do. Or maybe it's the things we say, the words we've heard, and the music we play. Maybe it's our cheapness, or maybe it's the times we've had, the lazy days and the crazes and the fads. Maybe it's our sweetness. Trash, you and me. We're the litter on the breeze, we're the lovers on the streets. Trash, me and you. It's in everything we do. It's in everything we do.